What up, everybody? The first episode of The Boys Season 5 set the stage for it to be a dark final season with the death of A-Train to conclude the episode, leaving a tone that nobody's safe moving forward. We also see that over the last year, since the events of Season 4, some of these characters have taken a darker turn, including Annie and even Butcher, who was already a dark character, but turned even darker after seemingly killing his father and embracing who he is. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about my death predictions for Season 5. But I want to bring up Homelander first, who I don't think is going to die. But if you watched my episode 1 and 2 breakdown video, you would know my prediction is that Homelander is going to lose his powers and be forced to live his life as a normal person. And if this takes place, it would likely be due to a zap from Soldier Boy, who has the ability to fry the Compound V right out of Homelander's blood. So because of that, it's also likely that Soldier Boy will also make it to the end, especially after everybody thought he was dead at the end of episode 2. So it wouldn't make sense to kill him again within the next few episodes. So I feel like Soldier Boy will make it to the end and either die zapping the Compound V out of Homelander, or after he'll get captured and put back into that chamber. Getting me to my first death prediction, and I want to start with the one that I'm most confident that's gonna happen, and that's Annie killing the Deep. In episode 1, we saw how A-Train's death was a full circle moment as he was caught by Homelander, stumbling into the woods after avoiding running into a girl. In the same type of way, Annie killing the Deep would also be a full circle moment from the first episode of the series as well. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this happens as soon as the next episode. My next death prediction, and another one that I'm pretty confident about, is President Calhoun, because obviously the next step in Ashley's character arc is becoming the president. And for that to happen, the current president would have to be taken off the board. As for Ashley, I do also feel like there's a good chance that she gets taken out, finally standing up to Homelander. Another death prediction that I'm confident about, but not as confident as the first two, is the death of Butcher. Simply because this is the final season of The Boys, so I feel like this is probably the end of the road for William Butcher. And he'll likely go down the final episode playing a part in putting a stop to Homeland. Getting me to Black Noir, the original Noir is already dead and been replaced. But in Season 5, we see the new Noir finally starting to get into character and acting more like the old Noir. But I do have a feeling that he'll end up being a casualty in the war. Another character to take into consideration is Firecracker, as it seems like those pills she was taking to produce milk for Homelander has really messed her body up. As Homelander said, her heartbeat was abnormally slow. So she might end up dying also, leaving Homelander and Sage alone as the only members of the 7 left. Then if Homelander would lose his powers, this would mean that Sage would be the only member of the 7 left, and she never really wanted to be a part of that in the first place, so she would just move on to something else now that she's famous and with her intelligence, and the 7 would likely be dismantled. So those are the 5 deaths that I'm the most confident about taking place in Season 5. Deep, President Calhoun, Butcher, Firecracker, and Noir. But with this being the end, I also think we could potentially see an unexpected death or two as well, as the prediction I've made so far are more expected, as well as A-Train, because at the end of the day, most of us figured A-Train would be taken out in Season 5 after starting his road to redemption in Season 4. We probably just didn't think it was going to happen in the first episode. Because all the deaths I named so far except Butcher have been people who are part of Team Homelander. So we got to believe at the same time Homelander isn't going to go down in this war without catching a couple bodies himself first. Another wild card when it comes to random deaths is Ryan, as he's already been responsible for 2 random deaths, his mother and Grace Mallory. And right now, nobody even knows what he's doing or how he's surviving. And as I said, Homelander might end up losing his powers to conclude the series. Ryan might end up rising up and being worse than Homelander ever was. Another character who could potentially get taken out in Season 5 is Homelander's rival, Stan Edgar, who's currently plotting from the shadows. Stan is set to appear in Season 5 also, so we'll see where he fits into the storyline and if he makes it out. Keeping in mind his granddaughter is now a soup and that he also has plans for Marie, so we might not have seen the end of Stan. And in regards to the Gen V crew, these characters are confirmed to be a part of Season 5 as part of the Resistance movement, but as there is expected to be future seasons of the Gen V series, I don't think it would make sense for any of these characters to get killed while making a guest appearance on The Boys, even though I do think that Marie could come into play and have a major role in the conclusion of the series, potentially even bringing one of the main characters back to life at some point, potentially a character like Butcher. I think if he survives, Marie will play a part in either healing him or bringing him back to life. Kay is another Gen V character with a unique power that could play a factor in Season 5 as well. Getting me to the crew of Huey, Annie, MM, Kamiko, and Frenchie. I do feel like all these characters will survive the series and end up having a happy ending as they walk away from doing what they've been doing to live normal lives. MM will be with his daughter and probably get back with his ex, and Huey and Annie, as well as Frenchie and Kamiko, will both get married and settle down, with the potential of all these characters returning at some point to make guest appearances in future installments of the Boys franchise, whether it's in future seasons of Gen V or the reported Boys Mexico spinoff. But out of those 5 characters, if they do get taken out, MM could potentially go out saving his family, as they could potentially be targeted. Annie and Huey could go out together in a Bonnie and Clyde type of way. And if there is an unexpected mid-season death, I think that would be where we would see either Frenchie or Kamiko getting taken out. And if one of them gets taken out, the other might just lose it and end up doing something to get themselves killed also. And there you have it. Leave your death predictions for The Boys Season 5 in the comments, as well as your thoughts, theories, and predictions.